That revelation puts the State Department in direct contradiction with what the White House said in the days after the attack, when senior administration officials, including the U.S. ambassador to the UN, did interview after interview connecting the attack to anger over a movie.
I want to start now with Peter Doocy live in Washington. The hearing gets underway a little later today. Why is the State Department now saying the attack was not spontaneous?
Bill, because the lethality and the number of armed attackers, according to State Department officials, are unprecedented in recent diplomatic history. Plus, there was no protest in front of the consulate on the night of the attack, and the agents inside the ambassador's compound just heard explosions at about 9:40 p.m. before fighting to protect the ambassador, Chris Stevens. And the State Department's new claim that they never reached the conclusion that spontaneous protests sparked by a YouTube movie were responsible for 4 American deaths is a lot different than what we heard from the Secretary of State and others in the administration in the days after 9/11.
There is no justification, none at all, for responding to this video with violence.
We have no information to suggest that it was a pre-planned attack. It is not a reaction to the 9/11 anniversary that we know of.
In fact, this was not a pre-planned, premeditated attack.
But we know the administration did internally classify it as a terrorist attack within 24 hours, and we expect to hear a lot more about this 3 hours from now at a House Oversight Committee hearing just across the street that is being billed simply as the security failures of Benghazi.
I'm looking at a list here, at least 4 witnesses. Any heads up about what they will say, Peter?
Bill, we've heard a little bit already from 2 of the witnesses, and one of them, Eric Nordstrom, the former regional security officer in Libya for the State Department, has already told congressional investigators about 230 security incidents from last June to this July, and that these incidents paint a clear picture that the environment in Libya was fragile at best and could degrade quickly, certainly not an environment where posts should be directed to normalize operations and reduce security resources in accordance with an artificial timetable. And at today's noon hearing on the Hill, we will also hear from Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Wood, the Green Beret from the Utah Army National Guard, who was in charge of a site security team in Benghazi that left Libya a few weeks before the attack. And he told CBS that as soon as he arrived in February, there was pressure from the State Department to shrink the security force.
It is unfolding as we speak here. Peter, thank you. Peter Doocy on that, leading our coverage in Washington.